Hey guys, so here bringing you another video. Now welcome to an episode of Climate to Master. As you can see, we're bringing up the loading screen, and I will say this is a point of view commentary. So we've kind of upgraded from, we did pure replay ones, we're now doing POV. So this is kind of like the hybrid in between a replay and me playing live. Hopefully you guys will enjoy. We're playing Annie, and I'm just pointing out a couple things. Our jungler is a support main. We've got a Soraka top. So I will mention, yes, this is on last patch. Apologies, but there are still things that you can get from this episode. And I'm just going to say something down here. And this, let me know if you agree. I honestly find it sad that like a one-trick Cassiopeia player who could have played Cassiopeia will then swap to a cheese-picking top lane of Soraka and be like, I'm just going to give up the champion that I probably love, Soraka, and like, Cassio, and I'm going to play a cheese pick Soraka that's going away. And I will say, I recorded this the night of the patch. So it's like, I just find that sad. Like, people are so desperate for LP. I don't know. I just don't think it's worth it myself. But this game, I do remember fondly. It was a good game. And one thing that I do that I think I've needed to do for the past few days, I weirdly had chat on. I've got rid of it. You know, it's not done anything for me. I've been a bit iffy on the main account the last couple of days. And I was like, screw it. Let's just get rid of it again. It helps you a lot. Because if you go and, like, interview any League player right now and you go, what do you like about League? What do you dislike? The game in itself, I think, is fine. The game is always fine. Like, the actual video game. The thing that is, like, number one, what people dislike is the community. As bad as that sounds, Riot has ignored toxicity for ages, and it is getting worse, just straight up. So, chat is just not needed. But this game, we in the loading screen, we did point out we are against a duo queue. I think even two duo queues. But namely, the one that we're against is mid and jungle. That is quite important because it does... you can tell they're duo. Let's just say that as you'll watch this game. Worth also noting that this matchup is apparently a terrible matchup for Annie. That is her worst matchup. It was something like Annie had like a 40, maybe 42 or 43% win rate against Aurelion Sol. And I can generally kind of see why. Basically, Annie has fairly low range, and if she's going in, she has to go all in. Well, then you're basically walking directly into an Aurelion Sol. And his Q can stun you pretty easily. His stars will just smash you. And then if he times his ultimate well and pushes Annie back, it actually can make you miss Tibbers. So, like, I can see why the matchup is pretty bad. Also, worth noting, if it's a good Aurelion Sol, which this guy, I think, played quite a bit of it, roam pressure. So Aurelion is all about that roam pressure. Annie doesn't have roam pressure in the early game. So generally, an Aurelion Sol might be able to go roam before Annie can do anything. Because Annie doesn't even have great wave clear in the early game. So, yeah, worth knowing. So Lee Sin's going for an invade. So Jarvan's done a pretty slow clear. Lee Sin has definitely skipped a camp. Kai'Sa getting a double kill. I go for the all-in just with the Jarvan because I knew Aurelion was coming. Unfortunately, Jarvan... He probably could have survived if he flashed the Lee Sin Q, but he got hit by the Lee Sin Q instead of flashing it. Meanwhile, I'm going for the Aurelion. Obviously, I get the kill. Aurelion, I think, may have got an assist, so I do end up... This is technically a good thing for me. Because I'm against my lane opponent, I've got double buffs, he now doesn't, and he has no flash. So overall, it's okay. Again, if you're just looking for, like, perfection, the Jarvan should have flashed to dodge the Lee Sin Q. Instead, he flashed after he got hit by the Lee Sin Q, so Lee Sin just followed him when he flashed, when we pressed Q. So that's just one thing to note. So I'm going to go back, and yeah, I'm just going to go for a bit of sustain. Maybe that was questionable because, like, oh, you got a kill, you're now ahead. Maybe I should have looked for more damage, but I don't know. I just kind of like the idea of getting boots because, again, movement speed is very important when you're laning against Aurelion. Zooming into Soraka, again, as you can tell, I wasn't a fan of these picks. It just doesn't sit with me well. I can't explain it. You know, I know a lot of people did feel the same way about me, to me as it. I just felt it was like... It was just cheap. It was just really cheap that, like, you're kind of... If you're playing Soraka top in solo queue, you're kind of conceding. You don't care about being a good player. You just want LP. The end. That's kind of what it said to me, at least. And I just found that a bit sad. I don't know. It's hard to explain. So we're just returning to mid lane. Aurelion's missing. He is now back. Obviously, sometimes you see his stars before you see him. Jarvan looking for a gank. And that was the kind of funny thing, at least like in the really early game, Lee Sin below me. There was a lot of mid lane attention, which I like. So here you can see I don't want to go all in because I saw Lee Sin. You can see me even walking away. Yeah, this Jarvan just went completely all in, balls to the wall, and it's like, dude, like, come on. So I do get the Aurelion with a nice ignite. Now me against Lee Sin, and this is all about, can I dodge stuff? Can I survive enough? So I do a good amount of dodging. But yeah, unfortunately for me, and again, is worth knowing, the Jarvan was auto-filled. That to me just shows that he was auto-filled. And you can see I'm typing is way too impatient. And I actually forgot I had chat disabled. But yeah, way too impatient is that we could have basically baited the play. If Lee Sin didn't know we had vision of him in that bush, we could have used that to our advantage. Instead, Jarvan just goes rushing in and just takes way too much damage early and gets killed. So it's just be a bit more patient about it when you know something the enemy team doesn't. We know Lee Sin's there. He doesn't know that we know. So you've just got to be smarter about it. But that's what you get of having an autofill jungler. And again, that's not by the way, a diss to this individual player. That's just why having an autofill jungler is the worst autofill positioned person to be. Especially in current meta, how the game is right now. Jungling is very important and very knowledge-based, and when you've got a support as the jungler, HuzzyGames, it just doesn't usually go very well. So yeah. So obviously, top lane, nothing's happened. Expect that. Gonna go for a little play on the old Aurelion. Unfortunately, I think Jarvan may have got distracted or something. We do a bit of damage, but I also take a bunch, and again, whenever you're dealing damage to Aurelion, yeah, if you've got low range like Annie does, his stars might still be hitting you every now and then. So that sucks. But yeah, I'm just going to wait till level 6. Get that Tibbers. Tibbers obviously gives me a lot more strength as a champion. And, you know, even though I don't like playing with the idea of Soraka top, and obviously this now being current patch, it's gone. They've nerfed it out of top lane. I do know the strength of it isn't early lane. So I'm going to go for him straight away. Now, why am I going for this play? One, to kill him. So we do kill him. But secondly, even if I didn't kill him there, by the way, which I will be honest, I was kind of surprised I was allowed to kill him. His own positioning, I guess, got a little bit too cocky. But even just to get rid of him out of the lane is a good thing. A lot of people don't play to deny their opponent. Denying opponents is nearly as important as you also gaining. So this is a good example also of a game that I go against the recommended build. So a lot of people know, I'm not going to hide it, I do use a website called, I think, again, not sponsored even, u.gg. I just kind of sometimes check up matchups if it's not like really bad, or I just like go, what's the build that's, you know, they would generally recommend. I'd say I go with it maybe half the time, or I kind of adapt it. I never go with it blindly, never follow a build blindly, because it might be a bad idea. But this game is a great example. It completely ignored the build that they recommended. Completely. It recommended me like the Ludens and something. I was like, why would you be building a Ludens against an Aurelion? That you're not going to do any damage to an Aurelion if you literally cannot get to him. And remember, when he gets like a Riley and stuff, it's going to be very hard to get to him. So Proto Belt for me was like, I need a Proto Belt just to give that little extra hop. That little extra like boing, just to get that Tibbers on, to me is very valuable this game. Arguably like way more valuable than basically any item. But, you know, a website wasn't recommending it. So that's why I say use your head more than a website's. Anyway, they do kill the Tryndamere eventually. A Soraka ultimate came through, which, you know, I guess Soraka doesn't get an assist for it, but that did make a bot lane thing happen. So I am pinging Aurelion Soul's missing, thinking he's going to go top. And then the weirdest thing happened. So firstly, they overstay in top lane. I think Lee Sin did use flash. But then, weirdly, I don't know what the Brom's doing. Look how much overstay he's doing. He's like actively trying to fight the Leona. He could have run away by now really easily. And yeah, he overstays, and I think he gives a kill to Aurelion in a second. Yeah, there you go. It's like, why did you overstay that much as a support by yourself? I don't know why. I got really confused about that, but oh well. So the Aurelion gains a little bit of gold where he really shouldn't have. I am going to go over, just check the red. And he's not there. And then suddenly, Lee Sin appears. Going to go for the Tibbers with a high damage. And then you can see I'm walking with the Lee Sin. Always as a spellcaster, when someone you know is going to just try to escape, walk with them. Because if you just stand still and they start running away, well, then you're out of range. Me walking with him, basically to keep myself level with him, allowed me to get an extra Q off and then the auto. And that's what killed him. So yeah, always be walking, never be stationary in those type of situations. So a really nice solo kill on the enemy jungler there. Obviously, he was looking to invade, take the red. Not letting that happen. That's good. And one thing I will say I've already noticed with offline, technically me, and this wasn't technically offline, by the way. This game and a game that I might upload after this one, same style POV, were both done on a stream. But it was one of my try-hard, no mic, no camera streams, so I can just fully concentrate. I actually do notice a difference with how I play, like, you know, even myself. I'm a lot more proactive. You know, if I was doing a commentary there, I might have not have gone over to that red to look for the Lee Sin. You know, I might have just stayed in mid. I'm a lot more proactive because I don't have to be concentrating on commentating. Funny that, but it's true. I've always said I'd say roughly 50% of my concentration goes to commentating when I am actually live commentating. That's a lot. The higher rating you go, the more you're going to get punished while you're live commentating as well. So yeah, that is kind of the issue. And to recover the account, just to get it, you know, past Diamond 4, get it back to like at least Diamond 2, I think we're just going to maybe keep with this type of style. And if you've got a problem with that, well, you've got a Smurf series for your daily live commentaries. So yeah, you can't complain too much. Anyway, Lee Sin gets Rift Herald. So I'm going to be a little bit careful. And here's the duo Q aspect. Really weird Lee Sin play. And yeah, he tries to go for a fancy kick. Now, the problem with that, one, it was a bit too ambitious. In my opinion, I was way too far away for that to ever work. For that to work, I really think he needed to ward over. Obviously hit his Q, but then really he probably needed a flash behind me to get the angle. He just didn't. So that was a bit weird. Nice kill by me. You know, we burnt our Ignite and that's it. Kai'Sa did a good thing there and then missed her W, but I think she might be okay for now. Really low, and yeah, she does survive on a tiny amount of health if you look at it in the bottom right. Gonna go over to the Aurelion. You can notice I've actually got a 2-level advantage on him now. There's the Proto Belt little hop that we've spoken about. Force him to ult me away, and this is what I said. Not every engage has to be a kill. We just chunked him, and we're now going to get rid of him from lane. That's awesome. That's a really good thing. That's how I've got a 2-level advantage. We've already done that once or twice. Admittingly, we actually did kill him before. But yeah, that's how you gain XP advantage. Make your enemy not gain any XP. But that's really good. I think I'm probably going to maybe look for my first tower plate here. Obviously, got that Tibbers. My bot lane might have overstayed. I actually don't think they've based yet, by the way. I don't know. Jarvan does get the Lee Sin, though. He just jumps on him with ultimate under tower. Then he goes, is going to return for the Misfortune. Aurelion Soul in mid lane. Use my E. Remember, it does include now a speed up, a movement speed. And they are going to try and return for some kills here. I'm going to roam myself down, and yes, I do know Aurelion Soul is probably going to be following me. Misfortune desperately looking for kills, you know, is going to be trading one. And then Brom... his positioning was a bit weird to me, so I don't know why. Again, this guy had a massive thing with overstaying. He had actually, if you noticed, the owner went left. Brom could have walked up really easily, and he just stood still trying to base. So that's the second time in a row this Brom stayed when he actually could have escaped. A little bit weird, but worth noting, players do have patterns. Players have weaknesses. Players do things like oftenly the same dumb things again and again and again. Mine is missing cannons, for example. This Brom's is overstaying as a Brom in bot lane, 100%. So the build-wise, again, Proto Belt is to give me the range to allow me to get to the Aurelion. But after that, I'm like, I think I need burst. So the thought process was the enemy team, if you look at them, are incredibly squishy. Lee Sin jungle, always is squishy. Aurelion Soul, he does get a bit beefy, but not like resistance beefy. He gets health beefy. Meanwhile, Aurelion roams top lane. Again, you should expect that a lot. I'm going to go for the Lee Sin. I do go for a flash, which I'm not sure if I should have actually flashed for that. I think I would have actually got the Tibbers in regardless. Jarvan, again, engaging fully, does get killed too. Going to go for the Leona. Not sure if a kill is on here. Kai'Sa's going to go down. Maybe I would have got that kill if, I don't know, I had Ignite up, but I at least needed one more Q to secure that kill 100%. So I don't know, maybe that just wasn't a kill. Maybe if I didn't flash for the Lee Sin, I was patient, walk up to him, then Tibbers, then have flash to kill the Leona, then sure, that probably would have been a kill. But overall, it was fine. I think it was in essence a 2-for-1 technically, but we also get Dragon. That works. That's fine. But yeah, so item build, as I was saying, knew that I wanted the hop of Proto Belt to get me to the Aurelion. And that's just not for the Aurelion, that's also for team fights and stuff like that. But I also knew I needed Burst. And I was thinking, what do I want for Burst? And the cheapest Burst, and I have no idea this Jarvan, by the way. He was very, very weird. That just was kind of like out of nowhere, that gank. But I was like, the cheapest good form of Burst, generally for a big, like, one-shot, big spell damage champion, is the item that's not Death Cap out of Large Rod. Is the one that you get stacks and then you use it. I've literally gone blank right now. Spell Thief, maybe? That one, not Spell Thief, it's something else. But yeah, that is really good. It's kind of cheap, and, you know, in essence, you can get a bonus 100 AP for a very short amount of time. Well, that's perfect for an Annie that you just want to, like, bloop burst somebody. So that's, I think, the decision where I went. Furthermore, to add to that, again, we spoke in this game how movement speed is very important. That item as well gives movement speed. So, oh, Spellbinder, that's it. So I'm going to be a very, very, very fast Annie within also the Proto Belt Leap. So it's working quite well. This whole build about Annie is about movement speed and being fast. And yeah, I kind of like it so far. So I am pinging missing. Just want to be, my bot lane has to be careful of an Aurelion. Again, this guy, he's not played bad as Aurelion, I would say, but he's not played great. You know, I definitely think he should have been roaming a lot more in the early game as an Aurelion. That's like the main strength of Aurelion, is he can hyper push with his stars and then like roam. He didn't do it too much. Lee Sin going for another play, and yeah, this Lee Sin was not good. And there's the example with the little Proto Belt that gives us the kill. So you can, I don't know if I'm the only one, but I can tell that these two are duo. He is desperately trying to kill me in mid. He tried to do the ward jump behind the tower. I'm BMing a bit. He did the ward jump behind the tower. Then he did that play. Like, and he's only doing this probably because he's getting pressured from his duo. Like, dude, we need to stop this Annie. And they're just not. So yeah, and not great play. Like I've always said, the best duos are sometimes the duos that ignore each other. Like, to me, a duo isn't about just playing for your other guy. It's about trusting the other guy. It's like, I'm more scared, really, of a duo that's a top and a mid duo, that they never interact with each other in lane phase, but they both win lane and they both trust each other to win lane. That is a much more scary duo than this duo. That the Lee Sin is actively trying too much in mid, that it's actually messing up. And he's only trying this hard because they're duo, in my opinion. So that's what I'd say. You've got to be careful about it. So I would presume, going to ping missing in a second. I do, because Aurelion, let's be honest, is likely going top lane. And this is where you really don't want people to ignore your pings. And yes, they do ignore my pings. So again, it's an annoying situation. Soraka is just about to die for free on a complete, you know, they don't need to die. They could have backed off a few seconds earlier and been fine. But ignoring what I have said and pinged, you gets a kill. And Aurelion Sol now has another free kill. Those little things can be the difference between losing and winning games. Like, just straight up. So, don't ignore missing pings. It's really annoying. Anyway, Rift Herald is actually being done. And I want to back off from this. So I'm going to go for a bit of damage. But then Jarvan goes for an all-in. So I just wanted to, like, blip my damage and then look to run away. Yeah, that ain't going to happen. So, unfortunate. So, oh well. I'm typing down here. The thing that I've noticed about this Jarvan straight away, and this is probably an experience issue of being a support main, he just goes all in 24/7. Like, there isn't a care in the world. Even if he has no vision, he will go all in. Nice play by bot lane. But yeah, like that just isn't great. He needs to be a bit smarter about his engages. Anyway, I am pinging just to be careful, but they are going to continue for a bit more, and triple kill for Kai'Sa. So even though Kai'Sa technically isn't in the trifecta of strong AD carries, you can play any AD carry in solo queue. Like, the thing that you've got to always imagine, this isn't pro play. No one is playing perfectly, even in Challenger. People make mistakes, and yeah, arguably the player is more important than the champion you're playing. So if you're just a really solid Kai'Sa, and you know you play Kai'Sa double as good as any other AD carry, yeah, just play Kai'Sa. Like that's the thing. Like, play what you're good at, definitely. And where I say, oh, you should start, you know, you should play meta champions and play the strong champions. If you don't know what to play, or if you're not looking to main something, then yes, just stay with the meta. You can't really go wrong. But yeah, so Dragon is spawning. Tryndamere is in the area. Lee Sin, unfortunately, which is really unfortunate. Steals the dragon. That should never happen, but it did. Obviously, Lee Sin gets killed, but it's kind of pointless at this stage. This Lee Sin is dying a lot. I'm going to go for the Misfortune. Radiant Soul randomly there too. Going to look, as again, you know, I'm just kind of hunting here. Very fast Annie, by the way. I've got 452 movement speed. That's a lot for like base movement speed. And when I activate certain things, I get a lot quicker. So, not bad. Because remember, when I want to be fast, pop my Spellbinder gives movement speed. Pop my E gives movement speed. This is Speedy Annie. The only thing I guess that would make me speedier really if I went Predator Annie, and I don't think that's necessary. Again, there might even be already comments going, what do you think of Predator Annie? I don't think it's needed. You can be fast enough without it. And something like Electrocute benefits you arguably more. People may even ask, what do I think about Dark Harvest? If you're in a matchup that you can, you know, get stacks actively, I don't see why it would be a problem. I was going into this matchup thinking it was going to be a really difficult one against Aurelion Sol. Unfortunate Tibbers use there. He panic thingies, panic Rift Heralds. I am going to continue going for him, by the way, because I am thinking Baron, if you're wondering. So why, Huzzy, why are you going all in here? Baron. Unfortunately, I muck up, and I would have killed him if I remembered I had Spellbinder. I forgot it, and obviously I would have also killed him if I hit the Tibbers. But yeah, that was unfortunate. But why was I going so all in? Well, look what my team is doing now. They are doing the Baron. So it was basically just to deter them away. Like, you know, get the Lee Sin away, and there's no potential steal. So that's why I did what I did. I just executed it pretty bad. Well enough that I got the Lee Sin low, so it doesn't really matter. But it would have been nice to kill him. Anyway, we now got Baron pushing top lane as hopefully 5 people. And this game shouldn't last too much longer. And, you know, people may ask, this game, you know, the bot lane played well. The one thing I will admit, and, you know, I'm not someone that's going to, like, deny strength. If you do look at the top lane difference this game, this was the first time I ever played with a Soraka, by the way. I never played against one, worth noting. But you can't deny the differences in the top lane in this game, as crazy as that sounds. Tryndamere is having no impact this game. He's not split pushing. Why? Because he can't. If he split pushes, we group as 5 and just end the game. He can't split push. He doesn't have enough pressure. He's not quick enough to split push. And that's a Tryndamere, the king of split pushing. And then, arguably, a lot of these Soraka ults and stuff, when my bot lane was having really close close fights, the Soraka ult, it actually did appear, was making the difference about, you know, oh, my bot lane got them, or my bot lane didn't. But you can't deny it. Like, that's why it became a thing for a patch. And obviously, why has it gone away? Because Riot doesn't want supports in top lane. That's why it's gone away. But, yeah. This game did kind of make me kind of, you know, go, that's why. Anyway, Annie auto-attacking like crazy. Again, I've had no mana for a while, by the way. So we actually didn't really cast many spells and all that. And I'm like, uh-oh. And I'm just going to run. So I pop my Spellbinder and my E, which is a waste of Spellbinder. But I just pop it because I just want the movement speed to get out of there. And it worked. You know, again, waste of stacks, unfortunately, but that's just the way that it goes. And I do decide just to loop down and just wait in the bush. Hopefully the enemy team doesn't have this warded. I doubt they would. I'm kind of thinking, if Lee Sin especially, who's played kind of all in, goes with this Jarvan willy-nilly, I do have enough mana now for a little combo. We would kill the Lee, but he doesn't show up. Build-wise now, continuing what I was going with, Burst. So this would be for a death cap, just to do straight pure damage, like we mentioned. Aurelion Sol isn't, well, he looks tanky, but he looks tankier than he actually is. He builds health. He doesn't build magic resist. So if you build a lot of AP, you're going to do a lot of damage to him. You don't even need, like, magic pen against him. He doesn't build MR. So just build a lot of AP, and he will just go kaboof. And, like, the also thing that worth noting, like, Tryndamere, if you can one-shot a Tryndamere, that sometimes they do get surprised and don't press ultimate, thinking, oh, I didn't expect that to one-shot me. So that's also a good thing, too. And as we mentioned, the others are kind of squishy. Like, Leona isn't squishy, but I'm not really going to focus on Leona as an Annie. But the others, Misfortune is squishy, Lee Sin is squishy, so that's why I'm going for, like, a really high burst build here. Head up to bot lane. I should have probably killed that cannon, but I was a bit worried that my team might be getting caught, and I'm like, So I walk away pretty fast. Do spot a ward with the Soraka, clearing that, and you can see my team's positioning is very all in, but notice what I do. Normal Huzzy would be like, I am grouping with them, I don't trust them, I'm just going to blah. I want farm, so I actually go and get 5 minions that I normally would never have got, and look what happens. Yes, they are engaging, but I'm a bit like, oh god. But Soraka heal with the Kai'Sa that's legendary. I'm now going to make my way over. Spellbinder's pop. Going to go for it. Land the Tibbers just on the, unfortunately, the Aurelion. It was very close to landing it on 2 or 3 people. But that is probably going to be the game. I head down to bot lane because it's like the next lane really to open. And yeah, so like the thing is, I know it's kind of a dead point to make because Soraka's been nerfed out of top lane. But this is why it was a thing, and we do get victory, is because when the best way to play against it apparently was split pushing. But a Tryndamere or a Camille or a Fiora couldn't split push fast enough, so they had to group, and then they're not as useful in grouping as a Soraka is. That's what the problem was. But there we go. Nice little victory there. Ignore the donated stuff down below. That was for the Smurf series. Obviously, this is the main. And that actually, by the way, got me off 0 LP in Diamond 4. Yes, it's been going that bad recently. So again, going to continue trying to recover the account. I've been pretty depressed how it's been going, if I'm honest. But we got 8, 2, and 3, 184 farm, and damage-wise doing the second most of my team. Second most, actually, also in the game. So yeah, yes, Kai'Sa clearly the carry. We also nearly do double Aurelion's damage. So I am happy with how I played also. It's not the fact that just Kai'Sa purely carried. I also did a lot more than Aurelion. And I got like, I wouldn't say I got camped, but I did get pressured a lot by the duo Q Lee Sin, who like kept trying to dive me like weirdly. So we dealt with that quite well. But that's going to be it. If you guys did enjoy, throw a like on it, throw a subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace.